So nothing better in the morning than going out with your boy, exploring, to take pictures. Say hello.
Hi.
The light, as you can see now, is really quite harsh. It's only, again, well, 9:10. The sun is coming directly from behind me here, and I've set up in this location, which is literally just off the road. And I don't know if you can see down there, there is a lovely little barn, and then we have the mountain range in the background. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, this is a location that I scouted when I came out with the family, and I got a shot here that I actually prefer to the shot that we're going to get today because of the light. If you come out and you've got locations in mind, you can either sit for hours in one location or you can come back at a different time of day. So if you're ever in this valley, I think that the evening light works better than the morning light at this time of year, and we're in at the end of October. It's Halloween. So this was an image that I took a couple of days ago, and I also put it on Instagram as well, and it's one of those that works better from a point of view of evening light rather than morning light. Sorry, there's cars coming past. It's like buses. Nothing comes and then everything comes at once. So this is a composition that works well because of the diagonals within the shot. So basically, it's not accidental that I've got the dry stone wall coming off from the bottom left-hand side, and then I've composed the shot so that the tree line is behind the barn, is dropping down on to the right hand side, and then you've got the mountain ranges in the background, again with the diagonals going from right down to left and from left to right, and then the one in the very background from right to left. And what that does, it leads you into the shot. And somebody actually mentioned it, Mike from Canada actually mentioned it and said, I like that shot because it draws you into the shot, and he's dead right. If I went 20 or 30 yards or 40 yards down the hill here, you'd lose that. And so it is just having and taking time to think about the shot and the composition of the shot and how it leads you into the shot. 10-15 minutes of trying to find something that works well with the image is a good idea. Because I've got a main area of interest, which is the barn, that's going to be where I want to focus. And you can see I've put my blinkies on there, and you can see the red tree and the barn itself are the main area of focus there. And we've achieved that composition with my 70-200 lens, and we are at 70mm. So if you had a 24-70 lens, you could get the same shot. And once you've got the composition, it's a case of clicking the shutter. And I think that I prefer my previous shot to this, and that's likely the one that I'm going to show you. This is the beauty of scouting. I love it. You can see that the sun is out. You can see that there's no definition in these here hills, but there's always something that's got potential. And I saw it just driving along, and this is why I love winging it, is if you can see the GoPro isn't the best for this, but there's a tree here. I hope I'm pointing to the right tree. Yeah, I think it's there. Okay, and as I was driving along, all I could see was that tree lit up, and in my mind's eye I'm thinking to myself, right, all I want is I want that tree as the dominant part of the shot, with the rock formation and the tree lit. And in post-production, post-processing even, what I'm going to do is I'm going to really darken the background off. So I'm shooting at f5.6, and I'm shooting at f5.6 for two reasons. Number one, I can blur the background out and make the tree as sharp as I can. But the second thing is it's really windy, and that tree's moving around lots and lots. So by shooting at f5.6, I can increase the shutter speed. I've also had to increase the ISO, so I'm shooting this at ISO 250 again because I need that shutter speed. And it's just then a case of composing that shot, and you can see on the back of my camera there what we've got, and you can see that the histogram is off to the left hand side there because it's a very, very dark shot, so you're not going to get much highlights in this image at all. And pushing it to the left also allows me to drop that, or sorry, increase that shutter speed, just to try and freeze that tree. So in post, what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken the background off so you can't really see it, and then obviously we'll have, because of the shallow depth of field, we'll have that blurred in the background anyway, and then the background will be almost black and will accentuate the light on the tree, not by lightening the tree as such, but by making sure that that background's dark. I have my trusty 70-200 lens on, and we're shooting it 130mm, so we're close in, and I'm just tweaking the composition slightly because I'm not going to be here again today, and I just want to make sure that I like the image. And that we've got a couple in the bag. And it may or may not work, but mind you, if it don't work, you won't see it because I won't show it. Go on then, I will. Even if it don't work, I'll show it. So I got that in landscape. I'm going to put you in my mouth. And I whack that in portrait. The whacking it in portrait, I get more. How can I explain it? You get more of a portrait mode, so it's longer in the shot, and you get more of that rock formation. So I'm just recomposing that. And as you always know, when I recompose, I always look through the viewfinder. So we've got a tree in the bottom of the shot which doesn't look good, but this is definitely going to be a crop anyway. And I think he's looked good. I'm just checking that tree is pin sharp. And final shot. Wasn't even going to stop here. And that's one of those images that may or may not work. And then if you look over here on the left hand side, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 silver birch holding on to the side of the mountain. For some reason 10 green bottles has come into my head, and this is again the beauty of winging it. I would have even stopped here, and on the ridge over at the top there are those silver birch which I'm calling 7 green bottles, even though I may not have 7 of them in the shot. And the only thing, as I say, you got going against you at the moment is that they're moving. So the settings are exactly the same as I was taking that tree there. f5.6, 1/400th of a second at ISO 250, and we're composing landscape mode. This is what happens when you're blind. You keep having to take your glasses off and then have a look. And I'm not having a go at anyone by saying that, because I know that there are people that have got worse eyesight than me. I like it. It's just, you know, do you ever get shots and then you get into post-production, you're really disappointed because it looked great in camera and then you get it home and it's just pants? That happens to me a lot. So if it happens to you as well and you think, oh no, I watched Thomas Eaton and he gets brilliant shots all the time. No, it's rare, and it's few and far between, and you just got to keep playing. So here's those images of the silver birch holding on to this mountainside here, and this scree, and keep our fingers crossed that they work. So I think the moral of this story is keep your eyes peeled. Don't not concentrate on the road, but look at your surroundings, and if you see that little bit of interest, then stop. And as I say, it's great walking out into the fells and to the hills, but if you've not got time, there are shots to be had. And also there are shots to be had when you've got this type of light, but don't go for the grand vistas because they ain't gonna work. It's got to be intimate and it's got to be looking for light, because it's light that makes the image, isn't it? It's light, and then the next thing that makes the image is light, and then again the next thing that makes the image is light. So I hope you understand that light is pretty important in these shots. So I've come to the end of this scouting trip, actually the end of the journey that I was taking, because I wanted to quickly scout this location behind me here, and it really needs no introduction if you're au fait or familiar with the lakes. It's Wastwater. Normally when I come here I'll go down at the end where the youth hostel is and shoot the length of the lake, but I'm only here for a little trip out with the boy, so I'm going to cut half of the lake off, and halfway down, or maybe a third of the way down the lake, we're just going to set up and take a shot. The problem that you've got today is it is windy and there's a lot of movement in the water. As with lots of lake shots, you want that light and you want mirror-like surface for that archetypal portfolio shot. So certainly not going to get that today, but I do like the light on the hills at the back, and it's absolutely stunning, this place at sunset when the light's right, because what happens is if you've got a nice sunset in the background and the sun will set behind us here, or roughly behind us, then what happens is this scree bank on the right will glow red, or at least portion of it will, and so will the mountains in the background. So if you can hear me over the wind noise, Wastwater is a beautiful lake, and it gets shot a lot, but it's not one of the most popular places to shoot, obviously because you've got your other lakes in the central lakes rather than the western lakes. So obviously your Buttermere's and, well, western bit, but you know what I mean, and Windermere and Derwentwater and Thirlmere and further over, but if you get chance, it's a beautiful place to come. I'm shooting at f9 and I'm getting the rocks in the foreground here, and also the banking on the left hand side here, just drawing us into the lake. If I just lighten this up, we go the right direction, you can see that we've got this little promontory of rock here that's just drawing us into the shot somewhat. And focus wise, I just want to make sure those rocks are nice and sharpish in the foreground. So we're shooting at f9 and just checking our blinkies. They're the little red things that tells us what's looking relatively sharp. And I'm going to go back to my histogram now, and I can afford to bring that histogram just down to the right a little bit, and we've got our shadows there and our highlights. If you look behind us, you can see that the sun has been obscured by the clouds in the background there, and it is forecast to get a little bit overcast today, and that little overcastness can help, but I do want a bit of light on those hills at the background, because you're going to get that modelling. So I moved the composition back because I didn't like it, so the composition's not the best in this location, and hence the reason for scouting really. I thought I'd come further up the lake. I do prefer it further back there. It's just that the right hand side looks a little bit unbalanced, but I've just tried to alter that by bringing us down and using this second rock promontory on the right just to balance things out a little bit. But hey, it's cold and it's windy. It's getting really, really windy actually. So this shot will work as both a colour and a black and white shot, and it won't be until I get into post-processing that I'll have a look and see what I'll use. If they both work, I'll put them both up. If they don't, I'll only put one up. And don't forget, this is only a scouting shot or scouting shoot, so not a shoot to think, oh wow, that's amazing. I do like that image actually. That image works to a point anyway. It's just a little bit, as I say, it's a little bit unbalanced. You tell me what you think when you have a look. It's just that right hand side I don't like. Trod on my glasses. Fell off my head and I trod on my glasses. And these aren't cheap. They're not cheap. Goodness me. Landscape photography is an expensive business, isn't it?